Hello, hello. Mandy and I are going live today. I want to wait a couple minutes and see if I can get her to come on here. Here we go. There you are.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So good to see you. Oh, you've got a nice
Uh-huh.
little Christmas background going
What do you
on.
think? Can you see my tree?
Yeah, beautiful.
Hi. So,
Hi.
it's been a while since we've done
Been
this.
like a year
Yeah.
since we've done this. We've still been talking.
Yeah. Hi,
The
Deborah.
two of us.
I know. We stay in touch.
Yeah, we took a break. We took a pause. So it's really nice to be on here again
Yeah.
and be interacting with everyone.
Yeah.
To share our healing updates.
I know. I know. Um, Lots has happened. But to start off, I want to say that Mandy and I are here today because we love medical medium and we love to talk medical medium. We've both been following and living the lifestyle for several years. And if you're not familiar with medical medium, this is the culmination of Anthony William and Spirit of Compassion. Uh, Anthony is a 7-time New York Times bestselling author, and he is also the originator of the global Celery Juice movement, where millions around the world are healing chronic illness. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, my name's
And
Deborah.
we've still been doing it for, I know you're at about 4.5 years, right?
I
And
think so.
I'm just approaching 5. This February will be 5 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So that will be really something to celebrate in
Yeah, no
February.
kidding. No
Um,
kidding.
so yeah.
So,
Um,
I'll just introduce myself. My name's Michelle.
yeah.
Um, I have my husband and I live in Western North Carolina in Bryson City, which is considered a small, very small town that is the gateway to the Smoky Mountains National Park. And we have 12 acres out here. We designed and built vacation rentals that overlook the park, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and Fontana Lake. Um, we just finished building our dream home. We can talk about the details of like what's been going on this past year, but yeah. So I grow most of our food. I didn't know a thing about it 4 years ago, and I just learned, and now I'm growing all the foods. So we're kind of homesteading. We are beekeepers. We have 13 colonies, and this year, Mandy, I don't even know if you know this, but we became a certified farm, Appalachian Farm. So we are Baxter Hollow Farm. And we were able to help sell some honey this year, but hopefully next year we'll be able to sell more, and be able to ship it and that sort of thing. Right now we're just selling to local friends and family. So yeah, and so I've been
Yeah.
following medical medium for, I think, 4.5 years. I'm not even sure. Um, and I have healed numerous chronic symptoms. Um, I turned 52 this year. I'll be 53 like soon in March. And I feel amazing. I feel the best I've ever felt in my entire life. So, yeah, Mandy, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right. My name is Mandy Palmer, and I'm an intuitive health strategist, and I've been doing medical medium now for almost 5 years and also helping others heal on that path for almost just as long. Because when I first found it, I dove right in and I immediately integrated into my coaching practice with people because I got results and continue to get results. And I am in Asheville, North Carolina. We're about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half away from where Michelle is in Bryson City. And Aaron and I are building a home in Fairview right now that's taken a long time. Building right now takes a long time. And we hope to be in by spring or summer. But I mean, we also hoped to be in right now. In the beginning of the year when we started, hope to be in right now, and we're not. So, and the reason I bring that up is because it has a lot to do with my healing journey because I'm living in a home with mold. We've been in this moldy rental for a long time. And I know that, you know, if you guys know anything about medical medium and mold, you know that it really decreases the immune system. It really challenges the immune system. And so when I talk about my healing journey, you know, we'll keep that in mind, and I'll bring that up again for the things that I still find challenging, you know, and I'll tell you all about that when we get to that point. But yeah, that's my short little intro.
Yeah. And for anybody interested, Mandy hosts a medical medium meetup in Asheville. And, you know, through the summer month, the warmer months, there's a physical meetup. And through the colder months, there's a Zoom meetup that you invite everyone from around the world to join, right?
Yeah, and I do the Zoom now monthly online. And even as it warms up and we meet in person, I'll still have the online meetup because it just, there's a different group that comes in person, there's a different group that comes online. And right now I do invite everyone online because I still have room for anyone around the country. I've had people from England join, from the UK join. So yeah, but it's really cool. It's really nice to have. There's other in-person meetups around the country too. So if you're not near us, find one or start one. If you can't find one, start one.
Yeah. So, yeah, it means the world to me just every time I get to connect with this community, because it is the most compassionate community in the world, I think. There's a deep understanding between all of us, and it's just a natural way to support each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really wonderful. So let's get into it. Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
Oh, it doesn't matter. So what are we talking about today? We're just talking about our health updates, right? Like where we are today from where we started.
Yeah. Like what health conditions and symptoms that we've had challenging, you know, even before medical medium, what we've dealt with. So we don't have to go into too deep of our history because we've done that before. But you know, more of an update because it's like, you know, we've both been on this journey a long time.
Yeah.
And it always changes. So yeah, so just a nice little update.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So I have notes because I don't remember everything that I want to say. I don't know how, I don't know. I have like just a little list. So a little bit of background, what things that I've been healing and I've healed. Vertigo, chronic migraines, insomnia, chemical sensitivities, really poor digestion and severe bloating. That was something that started a long time ago in my early 20s after Accutane. And, you know, I can even trace my chemical sensitivities back to when I was a kid. And like I always tell the story about when we would go to the mall and I would be like 10 years old. I'd go to the mall and, you know, indoor mall, you know, no airflow, lots of fungicides and toxins on clothes, right? And God knows what else, nanotech, I don't know if there was nanotechnology back then, but, you know, lots of chemicals stuck in one spot. And so after being there a while, I remember saying to my mom, Mom, I'm nauseous in my head. And basically, we know that now as understanding my vagus nerve was being attacked by all the toxins around, the neurotoxins. And so those were things, you know, I have other symptoms. Like I used to have chronic sore throat. My glands were always swollen from EBV, but of course I didn't know it was EBV. I've dealt with things like I had severe cystic acne growing up. From the age of 9, it started so young, to about the age of 22. I had cystic acne, mostly on my face, cheeks, forehead, chin, and I still, if you look at my face closely, I have some scars. I don't know if you can see it on this, scars here from all of that.
No.
So, but that's something that I dealt with, but it wasn't something that I had to heal recently. But it impacted my life greatly. And then when I first went to college, 18, 19, all my digestive stuff started, and that was huge in the beginning when all of that started. And then everything else started to slowly pile on. Migraines, insomnia, vertigo. And so when I first started healing, a lot of the stuff went away. I got better I noticed a difference right away, the first week, the first few months. And that was motivating enough to me to keep going. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily experience a lot of healing right off the bat. And I really just want to make sure everyone understands that, the body's going to heal in layers. The immune system needs time to catch up, to strengthen, to be able to fight the viral load. Your toxins, that needs time to decrease as well, so that Hi, Amy. How are you? So good to see you. Amy is Midwest Medical Medium Group. She's the other in-person meetup in the Midwest. And yeah, so the body has a lot that it's trying to do when you first start healing. And remember, this is a really simple path. Medical medium stuff is really simple, right? It's feeding the body the right nutrients, not eating certain foods that are going to feed pathogens or lead to more toxicity. It's really about getting all the bad stuff out and getting as much good in as possible. And that's not extreme by any means. But a lot of people view it as extreme at times because there's so many foods that we choose not to have because of what they do to us. And that can feel somewhat restrictive, and it can seem somewhat extreme. But it's really not an extreme concept. It's a really, really simple concept. So anyway, back to, I'm going to go off on tangents like that all the time. But back to my healing story. So, the migraines really, really decreased in the beginning. I noticed a really, really big improvement in my insomnia. And I really considered my insomnia, the insomnia, healed for a very long time. And then, like recently, and the chemical sensitivities even got better. I wouldn't react as quickly. I wouldn't react as severely. And the chronic sore throat, that's totally gone. What else? Oh, so I had bloating even like the first 4 years still on medical medium because my liver really, really had some healing to do. And I think even when we were still doing these, that my bloating was still not great. And the past year, since last summer, I did an advanced 360, not this past summer, but summer 2020. It really started to get better. And this whole entire year, I'm rarely ever bloated. Maybe a little bit around my period, but it's not severe at all.
That's awesome.
And that has been huge for me because I've always had the distended gut. And there was always that underlying level of inflammation where, after dinner, after the biggest meal, after eating food all day, my stomach would be pretty big at night, regardless, even if I wasn't having a flare. And I don't have that anymore. I can have 2 big meals in the evening, one at 5 and one at 8. And my stomach doesn't show that bloating at all. I'm like, wow, I ate all this food and it's just feeling normal, which is amazing. That is a huge step for me forward.
That's a clear sign too that your liver um, is no longer dumping the amount of toxins that it was before, because those toxins that get stuck in our bloodstream and our lymph system, you know, the body has a divine intelligence where it literally throws fluid onto those areas, which appears to be inflammation, or we appear to gain
Yes.
weight. And our body is actually helping us to flush those toxins out by putting those fluids in those areas.
Exactly. I love that you said that. So for me to say that I still experienced a lot of bloating the first 4 years on medical medium, that's exactly why. It's not because it wasn't working. It's not because I wasn't healing. That's exactly why what you just said right there.
Yeah,
100%.
I know.
So yeah, so my liver's not dumping that anymore.
Yeah, my weight has fluctuated so much, up and down, up and down. But I understand, and you have to. That's where the self-compassion comes in. You
Mhm.
have to just understand that, you know, our bodies know exactly what to do for us, and our livers know exactly what to do that is the most safe, so that we don't get sick in the process of healing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows. This past year, you know, I did a advanced 369 plus another 789 right after that in the spring, and I ended up having a little flare up of vertigo. And if you go back to that time on my timeline, I have a post about it that I shared the details. And I hadn't had vertigo in years. Like, it must have been at least 7 years, maybe 6, since I had a vertigo flare up, because I hadn't had one since I've been in North Carolina. And back when I used to have it, when I was paleo and eating tons of eggs and lots of oil, uh, they would be so severe that I would be bedridden, unable to open my eyes or turn my head, because that turn of the head would trigger vomiting. So I would just lay there still, with my eyes closed. And so this time when I had it, it was on both days 7 and 8 of the 369, which to me, and each day on day 9 was better. So this stuff is unearthing from my liver. It had an opportunity to inflame the vagus nerve up a little bit, but it wasn't as severe. You know, there were like on day 9 where I started to feel better, I would still be able to get up and go to the bathroom, which I was never able to do in years previous. And you know, I just knew my body would get through it. So I wasn't as fearful as I had been when I had it. And you know, it didn't last. Once I got to that day 9, was flushing everything, it went away. So I thought that was pretty incredible. And also knowing that I had the tools now to be able to get rid of it, to treat myself, you know, with things like lemon balm and L-lysine, and cat's claw, which are huge for vertigo. But I don't think I did the cat's claw because I didn't see it as a viral flare-up. I saw it as a flare-up of the old neurotoxins, just inflaming the vagus nerve. I didn't see it as the EBV was blooming and blossoming at the time, because I don't think that that's what it was. Because I think that my viral loads have come down significantly. And so I had that. I also had a really bad MCS reaction in the summer. And it's funny, my MCS reactions used to start with my stomach bloating up right away. Like that's when I'd know. And then a lot of times I would get a migraine after that, but not always. And now I've noticed the past couple of years when I've gotten one, when I have been, now this wasn't just like fragrance in passing. I was literally breathing this fragrance in for 2.5 hours. And you know when this happened. You were there. And so that's not just like, oh, I went to the grocery store, I smelled some fragrance for a few minutes. I went into a store for a couple minutes no, this was like full on of hours of exposure that was very, very strong. And now it will start as a headache. And then the headache will turn into a migraine, and I'll have that for about 24 hours. before I feel. So it's changed, and to me that says, okay, my nerves aren't quite healed, especially the cranial nerves. Um, but my viral load's probably down. Maybe I have some more shingles to deal with, because a lot of times people will notice shingle symptoms um, before or after they've healed an EBV. So, I could probably, yeah, I know, fragrance. It's awful. And there was another comment on this.
Yeah.
That alone, the knowledge of truth, yeah. Just knowing the truth of these things really helps the body heal. Just realizing it, reading the information and understanding it.
Yeah.
I think that comment was regards to when I was talking about the vertigo.
Yeah. Gina Volk. She knows.
She
Knows.
Everyone in this community knows, even if you're just entering it, you're aware of the damage that fragrance and chemicals can do. And I had another
Hygiene.
flare up just last week. I was exposed to, she knows, she's like, I know. I was exposed to, and I didn't know it, but I was exposed to a bunch of transmission fluid, or there was some kind of car engine stuff stored in a warehouse that I was in. I was also there for 2.5 hours. And I immediately started getting a headache when I left, which turned into a horrible migraine, which actually turned into vomiting, which was a first for me. That was a first. And I just want to use this as an example of how people will say, I got worse on medical medium. And I don't consider that worse. I consider it as, that is a true freaking poison. When we are exposed to these poisons, if we've cleansed a lot of this crap out, I mean, our bodies are still not going to be able to tolerate it. Especially not if our central nervous system or peripheral nervous system hasn't healed. So that also tells me that possibly my vagus nerve still has a lot more healing to do. And remember, the nerves can take years. And, I could probably be better with my supplements and take the higher doses to focus on that. But that tells me that that's what I need to be doing more.
I think we do everything perfect. I think the body is so intelligent that just like it gives us a tummy ache or a headache to warn us about something, a toxin in the area or a stressor or something like that. I think that, I don't know that we would ever live out the rest of our lives and be able to be around fragrance without that feeling, because our bodies have to let us know somehow to step away from that, So I think we're doing everything right. And the body does take a long time to heal, but it also has to, give us a warning somehow.
Yeah, I don't know if we should expect the body to just be okay with those poisons.
No.
We almost we expect that in our minds because, for years I used fragrance, I used scented candles and was okay in the moment, but now I'm not. Later in my life it affected me.
Right.
It catches up to you. Your body the liver can only hold and tolerate this stuff for so long. And then, like Anthony said, more and more people are going to become chemically sensitive as time goes on, just because we're not going to be able to handle it. So, that was definitely a severe reaction. But, now I know that that's not something I'm able to tolerate and just leave.
Yeah.
That's not okay for me, and just leave. And I didn't even really notice it when I was in the office, but it was there. And Aaron actually smelled it more. And I'm like, I must have just not been paying attention. It wasn't like a fragrance where it bothered me right away. So, but I'm not sure if I'm more sensitive. In a way. Gina, I'm not sure if I'm more sensitive or more aware, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Amy says, I walked into a shop with terrible fragrance, walked straight back out, but still in just that minute later in day got terrible headache. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that we should not expect our bodies to just be okay with it.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
So overall, even though I had those things happen this year, those flare-ups and those reactions. Oh, and my insomnia, I keep doing that. That's so unconscious. I gotta change that. The insomnia that I've experienced has also come back since, and that was something that really went away, like I was saying. But it started to come back once they put the smart meter on our house. And although I have a Faraday cage and orgonite over there, it still affects me. And it's the liver time. You know, it's still the liver time for me. And I forgot to say, you guys, I was on the 369 last week and I had to stop. I was on day 4 when I had that exposure. And I was also set to start my period the next day, which did actually start on time. So it was kind of also a culmination of that. It wasn't just the exposure by itself. I was on the 369, which my body doesn't tolerate stuff as good when I'm on the 369. I've learned that. And I was about to start my period, so my immune system was already really, really low. So it's something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
I think the cleaner we become, the more sensitive we become. It looks like negative on us, but we're actually becoming a better barometer.
Yeah.
I love that.
Get Kaufman. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And on this lifestyle, you know, we become so much more in tune. Our intuition becomes stronger. It's almost like our antennas just grow. And,
Absolutely.
yeah, I've noticed, that's something I've really noticed with myself.
Yeah, the intuition has just spiked year after year. It gets better and better. I recently, instead of health strategist, I decided to take on the title intuitive health strategist because I couldn't ignore it anymore. I couldn't ignore it anymore.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think it's 12:30, so I want to move on to you, Michelle. I've done 3 cleanses and my body has become so sensitive to smells and food. Yeah, Faye.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we're healing, you know, we're getting rid of this stuff.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
That can happen but it's also as we detox this stuff out. Because if we're following with what we're eating, you know, if we're doing our juices and you know, following everything to a T and doing cooked food later in the day and really doing lots of cleansing, we are pretty much constantly on a low cleanse. And when the body's flushing that stuff out and you get more happening, you get more of something in you, it's harder for the body to handle all of that because it's already detoxing what it can to not make you sick. And the body knew, right, how much to let go of, right? But then suddenly you get exposed to more and it's too much for the body to handle. So it's not that we're not healing, we're getting sicker. That's not it at all. It's just what I just said.
Yeah.
You know?
Christine Griffin says we are the canary in the coal mine.
100%.
It's true. Yeah. So, I've made notes too because there's so much that I grew up with as far as health conditions and symptoms that it's hard to remember everything, like you said. But also, as we heal, we realize that it's not very healthy to kind of live in the past, you know, and constantly remind ourselves of the traumas or the challenges that we went through. It's a great marker, you know, contrast. But yeah, I have to write it down every time because it's almost like my body and my mind don't want to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. I have a really hard time making this list every time. Like, what was it again?
Yeah.
What did I need to have? And I think that that's totally healthy. I think that's the healthy mindset to not live in it. You experienced it. Let's not remember it.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend on the phone yesterday and, you know, neither one of us had picture perfect childhoods. And we kind of agreed that, you know, in order to not fester or resent certain traumatic experiences that happened in our lives, we kind of, in order to forget them, sometimes we can forget full years, multiple years of our childhood. And we're okay with that, you know, because it doesn't serve us. The only way it serves us today is it has shaped us into the people that we've become, who we are today. And that I totally appreciate. And I wouldn't change anything, you know. But yeah, so I don't know, my parents have passed, so I can't ask them. And even if I asked them today, they would probably say they don't remember. But I was either born with severe asthma, or I acquired it soon after I was born. And I remember being really, really young, waking up in the middle of the night, unable to breathe, and my parents would have to take me to the hospital, and I was thrown in an oxygen tent so that I could breathe. And that was traumatic in and of itself. Both of my parents were chain smokers, and they drank a lot of alcohol. And back then there was no awareness of how cigarette smoke affected other people, or people that smoked. So, and then I was on the swim team for several years, probably from age 6 to 12, something like that. And so I got chronic swimmer's ear infections, and I ended up getting tubes in my ears. I had tonsillitis, like every child in the world was diagnosed with and had their tonsils removed, and severe stomach pain. And even at 5 years old, I thought, feeling sick to my stomach all the time, I think I felt at the time was brought on by stress, because at 5 years old, I thought, I'm going to have to raise my parents here. Is this how it's going to be? There was a lot of yelling, a lot of drama, and, I even went silent for several years. I think it was from age 5 to 12, 6 to 12, something like that. I just stopped talking because I just couldn't get anywhere, and I wasn't feeling heard. So there were some traumatic experiences. There were a couple rapes when I was 11 and 12, and I didn't have a safe place to go with that. So I internalized it for, I think, 12 years. And I spoke about it to a therapist when I was 23, I think. And, but it wasn't something I talked about. I'm still conditioned to keep things to myself, to not contribute to the drama, to try to create a peaceful environment for myself. And, so all of these things culminate into other conditions. They just kind of exacerbate everything as we get older and older. By the grace of God, I grew out of the asthma when I was 12, which was really strange because my parents still smoked in the house, and my sister to this day still has asthma. But yeah, so as I got into my 20s and my 30s, I had just chronic body pain. And I can't tell you the order of things, 20s, 30s, 40s. My list shows that I dealt with fibromyalgia, which I was never diagnosed with. I think if I had gone to the doctor, that's what I would have been diagnosed with. Just such physical pain all over that I couldn't explain. It felt like nerve pain. I dealt with restless leg, brain fog, adrenal fatigue, eye floaters. My chemical sensitivities showed as food allergies. So there were so many foods that I just could not eat. And then I went to a naturopath who did an actual food allergy test, which we learned today, they're not accurate at all. But again, I was told that I was allergic to eggs. So I stopped eating eggs it's been probably 11 years since I've had an egg. So that was a bonus. And I also caffeine. I haven't had any caffeine in 11 years. Um, so these certain items that I was told I was allergic to, I was able to avoid, which on some level helped me. But my naturopath still told me that he wanted me to make sure I got enough protein. So he wanted me to eat fish at least 3 or 4 times a week. And so I forced that down. Um, yeah, lifelong digestive disorders, horrible digestion, nausea, bloating, stomach ulcers, endometriosis, diverticulitis, uh, mystery pain and numbness. I remember in my late 40s, mid to late 40s, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I couldn't feel my hands and I couldn't feel my feet. And it was terrifying to me because, you think, well, that you can cut off circulation if you're crossing a limb and not allowing blood flow, but that wasn't happening. It was just, I'd wake up and I couldn't feel my limbs. So, yeah. And, Anthony's very first book, you know, Mystery, Pain, and Numbness. Uh, the day I found him and these books was the biggest blessing of my life. Chronic back, hip, shoulder pain, memory loss, blurry vision, PTSD, anxiety, depression, and I was suicidal at times. Looking back, I find that very hard to believe, because I couldn't imagine wanting to end my life today. But sometimes not all of us, but some of us get to a point where the pain, whether it be physical or emotional, is so severe that we can't go on. We don't think we can go on. But I can tell you from personal experience that you should keep going, because everything that's happened builds compassion, right? That's what Anthony writes, from Spirit of Compassion. Everything builds compassion. And there's great purpose in everything that we go through, because the people that we are evolving into are, the whole purpose of being here. And we can't appreciate anything good in our lives without experiencing some bad things. And so everything that's happened to me in my past, I don't regret. I wouldn't change a thing, because I really truly love myself, and I am so grateful to be here. So when I was 48, 4.5 years ago, I think it's 4.5. I should have checked, but anyway, my husband and I are very physical. We designed and built our vacation rentals. But I wasn't extending myself physically to the degree that I should have been hurting. And I had chronic pain that I just could not explain. And sometimes when I would get up off the couch, I would have to grab onto the counter, because I could literally barely walk. It hurt my back and my hips and my legs. Everything hurt so bad. And at that point, with everything that I had dealt with leading up to that point, as far as symptoms, I got desperate. I've been on a healing path my entire life. I've never truly trusted the medical or pharmaceutical industry. And I told my husband that I wanted to do a sabbatical, and we built a houseboat on the lake. And I said, I want to go spend some time on the houseboat and just do some research and see what I can find. And that's what I did. And he gathered us up. We moved everything out there onto the lake, and I started doing research and found that I had in the past, I had liked the Medical Medium page on Facebook, but I had never heard of it before. I couldn't recall any memory of coming across this information. So I started reading his website, his blog. I ordered the first 3 books that he had out, and I read them immediately. Yeah. So I implemented Medical Medium protocols immediately. Shannon brought me celery, the juicer, the heavy metal detox. Actually, I didn't do the heavy metal detox for quite a few months because I didn't have access to wild blueberries. Right? Turn Up with Kelly. I so resonate with the body pain and will heal from shingles. Yes, absolutely. It does, depending on your past experiences and the lifestyle that you've lived up until now. It just, depends on where you are in your life. But it sometimes can take time to heal that. Like you, Mandy, I healed so much so fast. The anxiety within the first week, like, virtually disappeared. My digestion improved like 70% that first week. And, what we learned is that most everything that we're dealing with is caused by the Epstein-Barr virus, shingles, strep, toxic heavy metals. And, so that's so important to know what the cause is, what's causing your pain. And so, yeah, today I am I've just taken a 180, just a complete 180. And that pain, it's taken a couple years to completely go away. And I still get pain every now and then. Someone asked me recently if I've healed everything on Medical Medium. And I've not completely healed. But what I have healed is the fibromyalgia pain, that chronic pain that just never went away. Brain fog. I had brain fog so bad that I wouldn't, you just can't function sometimes. And it makes you even want to be homebound. Like, you don't want to go out in public. The adrenal fatigue, the adrenaline that I put my body through from stress throughout the years. And there's all kinds of adrenaline, but I've healed that completely. I know I have. Food allergies, stomach ulcers, endometriosis, diverticulitis, mystery pain and numbness, memory loss, blurry vision, PTSD, anxiety, and depression. I've healed all of that. Is that not crazy?
That's amazing.
We have the power to heal all of that. And yeah, so like you said, the Advanced 369 is...
You've been awesome at that.
Miraculous. I've done 7 rounds of the Advanced. I went back and looked at my healing journal. If you don't keep a journal, start now and try to write down everything that you remember from where you started, because we just don't remember the details. And so I went back last night and read through my healing journal, and it looks like I do 60 days of the 28-day cleanse every year. Like, I go raw, fat-free, salt-free, 60 days every year. And since the last Advanced 369 I did, I think it was in October, this past October, I decided that I feel my best on raw. So I stay raw for a week or 2, and then I have cooked food for dinner. And that's how I feel my best. And I did go back and count the months for how long I've been overt fat-free, and it'll be 2 years in January I've been overt fat-free.
Mm-hmm.
And you inspired me to do that, Mandy.
Yeah, and mine will be 3 years in January, overt fat-free. That's crazy.
I know.
Crazy. And I don't do as much raw as you do. I do, some steamed and cooked every night for dinner.
Yeah.
I have to have my steamed potatoes. Gina says, "Yeah, Gina, I'm right there still too."
I was there. I
I
was
get you.
there, and I was eating. I eat cooked food, and potatoes every single night for months and months and months, and I just didn't feel my best. I remember how I feel on the advanced or when I did the 28 day, and I wanted that feeling back of after I eat the dinner. I wanted that energy, that vibrancy feeling. And so that's one of the reasons why I did the Advanced 369 recently, to get back in that routine of eating raw.
Mhm.
And now I don't crave the potatoes every night, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, you can absolutely heal on potatoes alone.
Right. They're
Um,
they're super comforting.
yeah. Um, but yeah, for me, this is how I feel my best, and this is how I um, get results. So, on average, I would say the first 3 years of medical medium, I was having a shingles flare on my hip every couple of months. Like it
Mhm.
was relentless. And I haven't had a shingles flare in 8 months, over
That's
8 months.
incredible.
Yeah. I mean, that feels empowering right there for sure. So when I do eat cooked food now, I eat a lot of leafy greens with it because it helps me digest better and it helps me to feel better. But after I have that one meal, I go back to raw the next day, and I do that for about a week, and that's what works best for me. I've been completely salt free for 19 months, over a year and a half. Yeah. Um, and in addition to running up and down a mountain now, when I could barely walk a few years ago, I've
Mhm.
started playing tennis again. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I absolutely love playing tennis. So um, yeah, life is
Yeah,
really
it
good.
sounds like you're able to do so much more,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and you're not.
one of the reasons you and I have not been able to go on. Oh, I love you, Gina. You're my hero. Um, go on live like this. I've not been able to like carve out time. This for me, by the way, is not something that I just, yeah, let's do it. Let's
Mhm.
just get on there and talk. Just like with my posts, I have to kind of get centered and present,
Mhm.
because, and I say a prayer to spirit of compassion, right? Because I want to be able to inspire and create hope for people, and let them know they're not alone. So over this past year, Mandy has been building a home, and um, my husband and I finished our home this past February and moved in. So we moved, and then um, we lived in a 400 square foot tiny house for 6 years. So we renovated that and got it on the market as a vacation rental. So now we have 3 vacation rentals, and growing the food. It's just takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's homesteading, and uh, I love it. I love being outside all the time. So yeah, lots been going on, but here we are. I'm glad
Yeah,
we could do this.
even though, we both have experienced a few, I think it sounded like from what you spoke about that I had a few more setbacks than you have, but we're both still on an upward trajectory, um, on this healing path. And something that I totally forgot to say was my fatigue, the adrenal fatigue was so, I mean, I don't even think about it. And the anxiety and depression, I forgot about it. Totally forgot about it.
But that's the beauty of this, because you
Yeah.
forgot about it because you don't feel anxiety and depression,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty amazing, Michelle. You're doing amazing, and you're a huge inspiration to the medical medium community and everyone in the meetup. And
So are you. I'm so grateful that you host that. Um, it's just a wonderful opportunity for all of us to get that mutual support.
yeah, it really is. And I always have a topic, but the discussions sometimes veer off, and that's the beauty of it is whatever you need support with that day. Um, that could be different from the week before or what's going on for you the week after, but it's really great to be able to just show up and have that space where we can talk about, okay, what's going great for us right now and what's sucking. You are both an inspiration. Keep doing what you do. You're an inspiration too, Amy. We love you.
I know. She's amazing.
So it's important to have that. Otherwise I think it's so easy to feel so alone on this journey. And
Let
I'm
us
so
connect.
proud of you girls. Aw.
So proud of you too.
Thank
Thank
you, Liz. Liz, that's Sonia, right? Yeah. I felt the same desire to give back, give hope, inspire others after I've healed. Amy says it's just so life-changing. I know, right?
It comes naturally.
It does. It does. There's something about this healing path where you become more grounded, you become more in tune with your intuition and your ability to heal yourself. It's not, and wanting others to feel the same and experience the same healing.
Yeah.
And even just being present with one another is really healing. I'd like to think that us just being present together with the community is in and of itself extremely healing for
Yeah.
all of our souls and hearts and minds.
Let us cleanse. This is the best life.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially, if you, and we've all been there. I mean, you don't have to become suicidal to be in a dark place. We've all
Mm-hmm.
been there. I know it. I know we have. And so, just to kind of remind people that they're not alone um, is really, really important to me, because so many people, like there were so many years that I just couldn't even talk about it at all. And I've shared on our lives here, and we have a YouTube channel, Mandy and Michelle Talk Medical Medium, where you can watch all of our previous lives, and we talk about some personal stuff on there.
Oh, yeah.
And that was when I first shared my first post and on Instagram and told some parts of my journey and my life experience. It was terrifying. I did not want to expose myself in that way. But the private messages from girls who had dealt with just sexual traumas of all kinds were sending me messages and telling me about their experiences for the first time ever. Like they hadn't shared that with anybody. And I just knew that was the right thing to do, to share um, the worst part of my experiences. So, um, yeah, there's always hope. And it sounds strange, but there is always purpose for everything that we go through.
There's always a silver lining, even when we can't see it at the time.
Yeah. Oh, I'll share my healing story next year. Let us cleanse.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it has to be whenever you're ready,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
not just letting people know that they're not alone in their experiences, that they can relate to you, but it's also part of your own healing, just to be able to speak it kind of validates whatever you experienced. And, we have to do that in our own timing. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I've been a pretty open book about everything I've experienced. I don't think I've ever gotten everything out all at once in one video, but everything's pretty much out there. What I've experienced. Maybe, I don't know. Well, now that I think about it, maybe not every little thing, but for the most part. So
Yeah.
it takes Huevos, yeah. It does. I mean, especially when it's been something extremely severe, that it takes a lot of courage to say it out loud, to because then you acknowledge it. You're acknowledging it, and talking about anything in the past really brings it up, especially if it's not fully healed. That can be really difficult. And Anthony has taught us that the way to heal emotionally is from replacing those negative experiences with positive experiences.
Linneas Jabaka, you inspire me so much. Your sharing your healing stories gives me hope and peace to my mind. That's wonderful. That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just being in, like you said, Mandy, being on this lifestyle, it makes you want to share what we've experienced, with other people, to give them hope that it gets so much better. It gets so much better than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, and hope carries us through, especially if any of you have lost your motivation or feeling like it's not working. It's working. It's just that you not feel like it at times. Like Anthony says, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not heard one healing story where that hasn't been true, or worked with someone where that hasn't been true. There's always that forward momentum. There are things that make us feel like it takes us back when we have a flare up, but we're not causing more damage to our body. We're not being intoxicated more by things. We're always releasing toxins when we're on this lifestyle. We're always lowering our viral load. Our immune system is always strengthening. It's just hard to feel that. But once you get past that, and you realize, wow, like Michelle and I have talked about, forgetting about certain things that we had. It's because we have reached that level. We've gone the 2 steps back a few times, but we're always continually moving forward.
Yeah. And once you start to feel the differences, that's the motivation, to stay on track.
And if any of you are having a lot of challenges that you're going through, you're having flare-ups, and you're having trouble staying on this lifestyle or figuring out what to eat, please contact me. Let's do a session together. Let's figure it out. That's what I'm best at, is helping you navigate those challenges and figure out what to eat where it's satisfying to you.
Yeah. Hi, Daya.
Hi.
Yeah, Mandy's great at helping people individually, and sometimes we just need that. We need that individual support because it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, it helps. It's part of my purpose too. So I love doing it. I'm always in better moods after. I'm never in a bad mood. Well, sometimes, but I'm always in a much better mood after I get off a call. So it's part of my sole purpose. I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So if you need help, I love doing it.
So when's the
Well, Instagram lets us go past an hour now.
does
1
it?
o'clock. Yeah. So if Instagram doesn't cut us off, we have to cut ourselves off.
How much further than an hour does it let us go?
I don't know, but it's 1 o'clock right now.
No.
But maybe we started at 12:01. I don't know. I remember it's let us do that before.
That's true, Daya. It feels so good helping others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Bye, Sonia. Good to see you on here. Thanks for joining. It's also my purpose. Awesome, Daya. Yeah, it's in your name. Awesome. What do you do, Daya? Are you Reiki healer? What's your healing?
So when's the next Zoom meetup?
Oh, I haven't scheduled it yet. I need to. I meant to actually just schedule it this Saturday, and then I totally forgot about it. I had a busy few weeks. So soon. I want to do it before Christmas. So hopefully next week I'll get one on the schedule. I usually schedule on Saturdays, but it might compassion. Yes, awesome, Daya. Um, it may be. I don't know. I have to look at my calendar. So it may be at night during the week. But yeah. But thank you all so much for joining us on here and listening to our stories. I hope that it helped you solidify what you're doing in your healing journey and provide some hope that no matter what you're going through, that it will improve.
Yeah. And maybe next time we'll talk about food.
Yeah, yes. I love talking about food.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that next time. Talk about what we're eating and just how to make your medical medium meals really, really enjoyable. Substitutions for things, and just a really inspiring talk about food because I know we're both really, really passionate about food.
Yeah. And growing food. Anybody that likes to
Mhm.
grow food or would like to learn how to grow some food, um, I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, I need that too. I don't do it yet. I was meaning to plan something this fall, but I haven't done. It's just a lot at once. Is the Zoom meeting only for people in a certain area? No, the Zoom is for everyone. So please join us. So follow my accounts because I'll announce it when the meetups happen online. And then actually, if you click my link in bio, I have instructions. There's a link, Medical Medium Meetup, uh, to you join the meet because it's actually on meetup.com. So you join the meetup group and then you get emailed notifications when the events are scheduled.
Thank you for being here, Deborah. And Miriam, good to see you, honey.
Hi. Hi, Miriam. Yes, growing food, Kara. Diane, MM is a blessing. Me, 20 years of pain and fibro and many other things. Yeah, that's awesome. It is a blessing, for sure.
Yeah. And it is a blessing that we're here at the same time that he's here.
Mm-hmm.
No accident. No
Mm-hmm.
accident. All right. Well, you want to sign off? You want to
Yeah.
end it? You want to end this now? I don't want to go.
Anyone have any other questions for Michelle and I on our healing journeys, or does anyone need support?
I would love to hear how to plant. My dream is self-sufficient one day. Linnea, Jabaka. Yeah, you'll get there. I had never done it before and just taught myself everything that I needed to learn, and I grow my food the medical medium way, which is clean, organic, and I'd love to talk about that. I'd love to talk about
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah, we'll see. If we don't fit it all in with what you want to share when we talk about food in general, then we can always make it another topic too. What do you think is the most important thing to remember as you heal, Faith? Well, I think you just answered your own question for you. I think that that's going to vary for everyone. But if you're answering that question thinking it's faith, then for you, I would say having faith in it, having faith in your own body, in the body's divine intelligence to heal, and faith in you as a person to be able to make it happen.
yeah, so often our bodies are healing and we don't see the results as our bodies are actually making great headway in the healing process. So staying true to what's best for you and, choosing the right protocols for you. And even if you don't see any results for even a week or a month, know that your body's still healing and working really, really hard. And when you're
Yeah.
tired, sleep. When you're, rest. just take on all the signals that your body's giving you.
Mhm.
She's
Yeah, there's so much that happens under the surface when the body is healing and repairing itself, that it's just hard to see. And even like you just said, rest when you need to rest. A lot of times fatigue is a sign that the immune system just needs you to rest so that it can do some work while you're sleeping, even if it's just a nap.
Yeah. Daya says she has a friend that's very sick and needs dialysis every day, kidney.
Alport syndrome. Any idea how to help her? Yeah, kidney failure. I mean, you can private message one of us if you want to talk about that more. But, one of the main things is celery juice and being off meat and especially protein in meat. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Alport syndrome as a specific kidney disease, but anytime I work with someone who has something, I do a lot of research first. If I don't know and I need to, I consult with other practitioners that I know. Um, but yeah, but if you want a private message more about that, we can. Dialysis every day is rough. It's by like the ground, Gina says, it's by like the ground senses your spirit. It's so easy to grow most vegetables. That's amazing.
Gina is an amazing landscape artist.
Ah.
You just wouldn't even believe what she does. Yeah, she's taught me a lot. Do viruses leave the body? Viral debris leaves the body. But Anthony says that we actually need a very small percentage of each virus that lives in us to stay active within our bodies, because they actually help fight off new strains of viruses that come our way.
Especially having EBV present. EBV doesn't like other pathogens. He's giving the example of someone who has lots of chronic EBV not really getting the flu. But yeah, the viral load should lower where it's not producing a lot of neurotoxins or dermatoxins and byproducts. And once you detox those out, that's when a lot of symptoms improve and the viral load improves. But you're not really looking to get rid of them 100%. I don't even know if that's possible. Like, I haven't reached a point where I'm like, oh, maybe I should start eating some viruses so we can go back up. It's just not something that I've thought about. I'm just letting it be what it is, being okay with it.
Miriam,
I never got the flu, Miriam. Yeah, my mom brags about that. She's got lots of EBV symptoms. She's like, oh, I never get the flu. I never get sick.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know if we'll be able to do this again before Christmas, but I do look forward to the next time we can carve it out and make it happen.
Yeah. Whatever the next Thursday at noon we can make happen.
Yeah.
Maybe between Christmas and New Year's, maybe the New Year. We'll see. We'll check our schedules. We're trying not to stress ourselves out of it.
Yeah.
That's why we're not like every Thursday. We wanna make sure, prioritize our lives and not feel stressed about it. That's really important as you schedule anything for yourself, to not feel stressed about it.
Yeah.
Hell yes and no. I would love to grow vegetables indoors, but I'm not sure how to start. My outside city porch doesn't have enough light in the winter, but my bedroom does.
Yeah. You can do it. Throw some plastic down. Throw some plastic down on your floors. Get some grow lights.
Yeah, we'll have Merry Christmas to you too, Gina. We'll have to dive into that more. Thank you, Inspiring Women. So good to have you here.
Thank you, Plants by Catherine. We'll be back on soon.
Yeah.
I enjoy.
All right. Lovely connecting with you, Michelle, and doing this with you. Talking medical media.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you for commenting and in being here with us. It's so wonderful to have you to talk to, and the other way around.
I don't remember how to end the live. Do you remember? There's an X up there.
I think that's just it. I think we would just say I love you and end it.
I don't know what
But
button.
I think that we haven't done this in so long that
I
we're just like,
know.
oh, we
But
love being here.
It's up here. I don't recognize.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Love to you all.
Love you guys. All right. I want to hit the X and hope that it saves.
Yes. All right, everyone. Good energy. Good energy that saves.
Feels good.
Sending.